Ex-wife called the cops on me after I saved our son from her mistake. I am divorced, and I want to make sure I am not being unreasonable against my ex-wife, but I am feeling pretty worried about my kid's health. We have a 5-year-old type 1 diabetic who was diagnosed on his first birthday, so we've been at this for 4 years. He got the Omnipod system this year, and we all went through the training. Insulin pump. I woke up on Monday morning to text from his mom saying his blood was 425-525 plus. 85 is a normal from 11 p.m. through the night. It was currently 6 a.m. and his blood sugar was still too high. She was saying he may need to go to the hospital. She says maybe change his pump. Maybe he needs a new one. This means change it in an hour and a half when he gets to my home. My first thought is pump issue as well. I told her the doctor said to take his pump off, give him insulin from the pen, then put a new pod on when he comes down. This is mandatory basic understanding to use this system for our son. Her reply, the doctor said to do that if the pump doesn't work. What doctor told you that? I explained to her that the doctor recommended this at the last endocrinologist appointment I had with him. Her reply, you can try what you want at your house. If he's not down by noon, you'll need to take him in, or I will. I am frustrated by this response. His blood sugar has been high for 7 hours at this point. By the time she drops him off with me, at 7:30 a.m., it will have been 8.5 hours with blood sugar over 400. She has clearly communicated she is at a loss and is questioning hospitalization. Why would she be okay with waiting until noon? That will be 13 hours with blood sugar over 400 and serious risk/certainty of DKA. His blood turns to acid. I reply, if you bring him to me ASAP, I'll get his blood down quick. If you think he needs a new pump, you should not wait on that, especially if you think he's close to hospital level. You need to provide me with all the troubleshooting steps you've already attempted. Her reply, I don't think there is anything wrong with the pump. I don't think you realize how high his blood sugar is. This is much worse than normal. If this happens at your house a lot, then there is a serious problem. Troubleshooting steps? This is our son, not a robot. Try to care for him, just like I have done all night. If he's not better by noon, we will take him in. Hospitals help not harm. To her, I do not think there is anything wrong with the pump. I remind her of the text she sent where she says, maybe change his pump, maybe he needs a new one. I ignore the rest of her jabs as I am worried about my son and feel helpless to help him when I know what to do and she isn't following the training. I simply reply, tell me what steps you've taken throughout the night. Did you bolus for phantom carbs? If so, to what degree? Did you test for ketones? She replies that she did not test for ketones and asked me to do that on my time with him. She explains that she was tricking the pod to give double doses all night. And then she tells me that she just removed the pod and immediately gave long-acting insulin. That is not the insulin he needs short-acting insulin. I ask, what time did you give long-acting insulin? I'll need to know for putting the pod on the next day. What was the dose of insulin from the pen you gave at that time? What was his blood sugar at that time? When did you notice he was first high? The Dexcom Follow app doesn't show me the exact time. What was his diet yesterday? What did he specifically eat before bed? She responds, calm down. If this is too much for you, I'll take the whole day off and take care of him myself if you prefer. I reply, I am the definition of calm. You are not providing the right details. Very long story short. She answers none of my questions. I get him, and he was never given a shot from the pen. I check his blood manually, give him the correction dosage from the pen, and call the endo team, and he was perfectly healthy within 2 hours. His mom got seemingly defensive that he was healthy, so quick with me, and demands I take him to the hospital, even though he is now healthy. His endo says not to, that he is fine and only has trace ketones, so no risk of DKA, but to monitor him. His mom calls the cops on me. The cops say he is fine. She calls the fire department. They show up and say he is fine. I take him to the emergency room anyways at her request. He spends 3 hours just getting tests and fluids, and they release him showing he was fine all along. So, check me. I provided the exact quotes from my phone. Am I being a jerk? Does it seem like I was freaking out? I am very worried about my son for future situations with this woman who seems to exude pride and ignorance at the expense of my son. The hospital sent us a behavior contract saying that if these outbursts continue, they can dismiss my son as a patient. I just want to check myself and see if I am part of the problem because I might need to go back to court with her and fight for medical decision making to protect my son in the future. But if I am part of the problem, then I need to check my attitude first. TLDR, my ex-wife struggled to manage our diabetic son's dangerously high blood sugar, so I took over and got him stable quickly. She got upset, called the cops, and insisted on an unnecessary ER visit. Am I wrong to be concerned about her handling his diabetes in the future? Did I add to the problem?